Alright, welcome back, guys. This is step 3 of my Exchange environment installation. And in this step, we're going to cover basic configuration and Mailflow. Okay, so begin. The good thing about Exchange, once you've installed it, it is configured for internal Mailflow by default. So what we're going to do to confirm that or to check that, so we're going to go ahead and bring up a browser. And we want to go to the oh sorry, I'm on the CAS server, which has, you know, the virtual directory. So I'm going to bring up here. Since I'm on the CAS server, I'm going to go localhost ECP, which has the admin center. We'll bring this one in because there's no certificate installed for that address. And I'm going to go ahead and log in with the default. Right now there's only one account, the default account that it was installed with. So I'm going to go ahead and log on with that. Okay, that is still coming up here. Okay, it's back up. Well, it's up. Now, this is one of the things I basically don't like about the new Exchange 2013, but that's just personally. Um, I'm so used to the console, the Exchange Management Console, that this web interface is really bugging me, but I'll get used to it if that's what it takes. So currently, the first here is a recipient, and there's only one recipient. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to what's actually we're concerned with at this moment, the servers. So I have 3 servers, one CAS, one mailbox, and one multi-role, which means he has both roles. Now the first thing normally they tell you to do in the post configuration is to put in the product key, but I'm going to skip that for now since I have days left on it, or months left on it. Alright, so these are the 3 servers. So if we go to database, by default it has a mailbox database that creates for each server that has a mailbox role. Right, so that is perfectly fine. So those are the only things concerned here. So let's go back to the recipient. I just want to give you the basic here. So we have one recipient. So now we've installed the server, nothing done yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another user so we can test internal Mailflow. Let's see, new user. First name is going to be test. Initial I for internal. Last name Mailflow. It's going to need some little AD configuration here. So let's browse to where we're going to put it. We're going to put it in accounts, user accounts. Okay. It's going to be TI Mailflow. New password? Yeah. No, I don't want to waste my time in resetting the password. I need to select what database I want to put it on. I'm just going to select the mailbox server database here. And nope, I don't want to create any address policy, any archiving. I'm good. So I save. It's going to take a few minutes to go through the creation of the mailbox. Okay, so once it's done creating the mailbox here, what I'm going to do is jump onto, just to make sure everything is clear, jump onto another server here. Bring up a browser. So technically I should be able to go to HTTP and put in my CAS server address, which is 001. Oh. 001 and do a /OA. Alright, I'll go ahead and continue. And then I'm going to log in as /, and it was TI Mailflow. Alright, so that's the pre-configuration for my web app. I'm in Pacific time. What is that? Oops, -8. There you go. The same. Now while that is coming up here, let's just do another browser session in private mode. Let's do the same thing, https://001. Yep. Let me say CAS. Oh, sorry, OA. Continue. In this one, it's going to be W. So now I have two mailbox open. This one is for test iMailflow. So what I'm going to do is just open up a email here. So you can search directory. Should find it. Alright, that's taking too long, so let's go service at W12 W12E13.com. Let's go. Did look up the name and resolved it. It's a good sign. Now, one thing you have to know, I'm running all this. This is a test environment. I'm running it all in minimal server specs, so latency is expected. Let's see. So let's give it a few more minutes and see. It's stuck. Looks like it's stuck in a draft folder. This is the Exchange service account. Let's do a refresh. How's the refresh? Jump back to this one. Perfect. It's in the sent folder now, so it's gone. It does take a while. Like I said, I'm running in minimal spec, so it's dragging. So let's check the Exchange folder. Perfect. It's in there. And I could go ahead and do a reply. So got it. So basically, like I mentioned before, the one good thing about Exchange, as soon as you install it, as soon as you install everything the right way, the internal Mailflow is configured by default. There's no need for any changes to be done. All right, so now the next thing we're going to try to do here is confirm that or configure external Mailflow. So for that, let's minimize this ones and let's go back to our car server. So for external Mailflow, there are a couple of things we have to take into consideration. It's a little bit more complex, especially for the kind of setup that I have. So for that, we need to come down into the servers, sorry, the Mailflow section. There you go. And for Mailflow to work correctly, we need to make sure we have the accepted domain configured, which is also configured by default when you installed Exchange. This is one of the good things. Yeah, one thing I don't like about this web interface, the please wait, it is very annoying. So basically it tells you that we have a default domain. It tells you the name and the actual accepted domain and the domain type. This one is authoritative. So for this testing, we're going to leave everything the way it is right now. Or we can later on, I'm going to have to play around with add some more domains here for other things. So accepted domain for Mailflow, external Mailflow, accepted domains, the receive connector. The receive connector basically tells you, allows you to configure incoming traffic, where you want to receive information from. So, and since we're on the CAS server, what we need, there are 3 connectors here, and well, there are 3 default connectors there, but to make sure you understand them, Um, the only ones we should really be concerned about is the default front end and the client front end. Right, the proxy is actually, those ones are the ones that deals with external traffic coming in. This one actually deals with the internal server. So for these are the two we're going to be paying attention to when the time comes. And lastly, the send connector. There's none configured right now, but the send connectors deals with traffic going out of your Exchange environment. So the three things that you need for external mail flow is the accepted domain, receive connector, and the send connector. The three things you need to actually pay attention to. Now, what we're going to do, but in order for the actual email to get into the Exchange environment or to flow to the Exchange environment, it needs to be configured externally. There should be external pointers telling them, hey, this is what you need to, where you need to go to, and this is where you need to send the mail to. That's an external information. So we're going to have to configure the external domain. So we'll get on to that. I'll see if I can do all this in one. Normally, my first step to do an internal mail, to do external mail flow is to go through a spam gateway like Semantic. Well, now it's EOP, Exchange Online Protection, or any anti-spam gateway that you can find. In my case, this guy's. Let's open up a new. Let's put in a new browser. Comodo has been great. They do give free trials, and for testing you cannot beat free. And actually, their system is pretty good. So if you think you should get it, pay for it if you feel like you need it. It's a very simple system. I'm gonna log into it right now. Let's log into that. So this is the Comodo system, the dashboard. Tells you all your spam flow. This domain I configured it a while back when I was doing Azure testing, and since decommissioned it, but I still have it set up. So for this testing here, we're just going to go ahead and delete this domain. No, I'm no longer using. Yep. And we're going to go ahead and add and the destination port I'm going to configure. The last time I put in my IP address on on one of my videos here, I got flooded with a whole bunch of, well, technically Comcast had to switch my IP. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it there for now. Basically, you put your IP address here for your, and the port number that you're doing SMTP with. It's default port 25. And you save it. Oh, processing. Alright, once it's done processing, it'll give you a warning here because it failed to check. That's fine, you don't have to worry about that. Now the next thing you need to do is we need to go into the open the browser, and let's see, we need to go to the Comodo forums. The reason why I'm taking you to the forums is because the one thing about Comodo is that they keep changing the IP address. I don't know why they do that, but they keep changing the IP address configuration. It makes configuration a little bit difficult. So we're in the anti-spam gateway. That's what we're looking for. And let me see which one has it. This one doesn't have a lot of information. In fact, the only important article there is the one I actually put up about a year ago when I was configuring my Exchange 2010. But since then, that information has also been old because they've changed their gateway, and they've also changed the IP address. So that is not a good thing. But I believe it's this one. So basically, they have a range of IP address that we need to put into our configuration. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is the MX pool. So once you've configured your domain here, what you need to go ahead and do is to go to the DNS server that's hosting the DNS server that's actually hosting your domain. I have it on this one of my external DNS server. So you're gonna delete this MX record. You're gonna add a new record. And then an MX record. So once you add, you're gonna add two of them, the MX pool 1 and the MX pool 2. Now the reason I had to do that is because when you sign up for Comodo, it will send you an email with that information. I've already signed up for this one before, so I received that email earlier on. So that's why I know the configuration. But if you sign up for their service, they will send you an email on how to configure your MX records. So let's jump back to that. That has been configured, and let's just task reload. So I'm going to jump on an external server. Then I'm going to say MX Toolbox is always your friend when you're working with Exchange services. So I'm going to look up my domain. Basically, I want to see the pool as the MX record. Perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So when somebody tries to send an email to the to my domain, W12E13.hazelnet.com, it's going to send to that MX record because that's handling the mail, and that MX record is going to send it into it's going to send it into this spam gateway, and that spam gateway then is going to forward it to my local IP, and the mail is in my Exchange environment. So once we've configured that aspect, next aspect is to actually try to configure the mail to get internally. So what we need to do here is go back to, we're already in the car server, basically go back to our control panel and go to our receive connector. Alright, so what we're going to do here, remember I mentioned the two connectors we're concerned with are this one and this one, the client front end. Let's go ahead and open that up and see what it has. So it's port 587, and this one is what's the scope here? For Exchange users only. So that is fine. Let's go ahead and open this one up. The default is supposed to be the one port 25. Okay, this one anonymous user, scope port 25. So normally I don't like playing with the default one, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and disable this one. Alright, once that is disabled, I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. Alright, it's for internet. I'm going to go ahead and play around with the ports. Let's make it port 28. Then I'm going to come back into it. I'm going to go ahead and edit it. This is accepting everything from an anonymous user. Now I need to edit this one here. Because I'll tell you why I'm going to edit it to. Which server was it? Was it this one? This one. See, the forum here is that they use this 3 IP addresses. That's what Comodo uses. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the range here. So it's only going to accept incoming from these IPs. So let's go ahead and save that. And that should be a configuration for the mails coming in. For the outgoing, the send connector, let's just add it's also going to be Comodo. Sorry, internet. I'm going to route it to a smart host. authentication, the address space, one asterisk, so everything goes through that. And then go next. There are two transport servers, so yeah, I'm a little puzzled why it's only giving us two, and there should be one more. Let's go back. Connect associated with connectors. So continuing transport role. So how come when it's in the CAS server? Alright, let's try this again. Add a sync connector. Why is it saying? This is why I don't like web. There you go. So now this alright. Domain scope, we'll scope everything. I'm not sure why it's not showing the CAS server. I'm gonna go select this for now. Let's move on with it. Finish. Alright, so I have my accepted domain is set. I do have a receive connector to receive from the internet using the Comodo anti-spam gateway, and I have a send connector set, which is going to send out. So now it's time for external mail testing. Alright, so for that, let's go for external testing. Let's go open up a new. So we're going to turn it to TI. At and send. Your message has been sent. Well, I like to refresh, make sure it doesn't bounce back immediately. It doesn't. So since it doesn't bounce back immediately, I go ahead and open up localhost OA. CTI. And basically I'm checking if we received the email. Alright, this was the one that we did for our internal Mailflow. The one I sent was an external Mailflow. So let's just give it a few more minutes and see. So it's been a few minutes, nothing is coming through, so let's jump on this one. Let's see if anything in the queue. Nothing in the queue, but it looks like there was one, because normally if there's nothing, there shouldn't be anything there. Let's see. This was the mail. This is where I created tests for Mailbox. So let's see. Get queue on this. See on this one. Okay, it says there was a mail delivery. So a good way, actually I'm doing it the wrong way. Let's go back to the gateway here, and let's look at the search logs. So what I'm trying to do here is see if anything made it through into the anti-spam gateway. This one was yesterday and today. Could use us for the last minute. Okay, so you see the mail came in from Yahoo and it was accepted. Content looked like spam, but it was still accepted, which means it was sent to my internal mail server. And the internal mail server that picked it up would have been my CAS. Let's check this one more time before we go in there. Okay, so well, basically what I did was I went offline to research some things. It basically took me about an hour, but I was able to figure it out. So let's try this again. I'm gonna compose to test Mailflow at W12E13.fizzleless.com. External Okay, and I go ahead and send. Then I come in here. And I wait for it. Just forwarded something from Fries. Now, while that is going through, I could briefly explain to you what the problem was. So when I was configuring my connector here, if you can remember my receive connector, I did change the port to port 28 to receive on port 28. And now port 28 is not configured by default on the firewall. So what I had to do was go back into the firewall here and basically do my front-end transport custom and open up port 28 so we can receive emails through, and that kicked off the email flow. So basically that was the only problem. I did not have a port 28 open on the server, so everything came through and kept bouncing because the server itself wasn't accepting, the firewall was blocking port 28. Okay, it looks like some mails that flow through. So let's go back to our email here. Oh, so that was funny. This was the first test that we did. It came through. So while we're here, let's just test the outgoing. Do a reply. Got it. And let's send that out. Oh, here you go. Test 2. Reply. Got it. Send. Alright, so basically we've confirmed that we're getting internal mail flow. External mail flow is coming in. We've verified that. So I did the reply to see external email flow. Now for that, we can also monitor the queue. Okay, see the 2 going out. One is going to the pool. Let's see when it goes out. We can do get queue. It's still there, so let's do get. That's the only one. Let's see what we got. Look like it might be stuck. Let's see what we got. So this is the message I sent out. It's No recount. So basically, it's just waiting. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no retry count, so it's just waiting. So we should just give it a few. So I've waited an hour, and it looks like the mail is still queuing. So get queue. Still hanging on retry. See the attributes of the message. So what I did was just make sure I'm actually getting to that from here. So it'll be yes, it is responding, but it's not receiving my emails, my connection. So, which means the send connector is defective. So let's jump back in here. Send connector, edit. Delivery. I've already seen something that is actually missing here. So let's jump back to the console and let's do a clear screen. Get send tab connector. It's one pipe FL. So this one doesn't give me any option for select the ports like it used to. So what we're gonna do is set identity well, let's do it the other way. Get send connector identity middle set port to 587. They only take incoming traffic from 587, not 25. The little wizard did not give me the option to select a port. So let's see what happens here. Alright. My port has been set. I'm going to jump back here. Let's see if it goes first. Then if not, I'll reset my. A lot of typos, huh? All right. All right. Open connection is active. It's gone. And we'll jump back to email. Perfect. So the so basically the problem here is, well, let's confirm a Mailflow first. So, well, I'll go over the problem. The problem is that the little wizard in the web portal for the send connector, it's a new, it's internet. It doesn't give you, or did I miss it? It doesn't give you an option to put a port. And since it doesn't give you the option to put a port, I'm making sure all the steps are actually working right. Yep, it doesn't give an option to the port. So if you have something using a different port, it basically defaults to 25. And if you have a service using a different port, you have to jump on the command line or the PowerShell and change the port to whatever port your system is using. So now that we have this was just a test, so let's go ahead and delete this one. So now that we have internal and external Mailflow, let's do our last and final test. I'm going to go ahead and jump on this one. Test for Mailbox. I'm going to create a new. Alright, so I'm jumping internally and I go ahead and send the mail. The mail is sitting in my draft. I'll go here and wait for it to go on the sent. So it did disappear from my draft. Alright, okay. Now it's in sent. Could it have gone through already? Must have gone through. So since it's gone through, let's jump onto my yep, there we go, right here, test 3, and I'm gonna go ahead and reply to it. Got it. It's working. Jump back in here and wait for it to come in. Oh, look at that. It's there. Perfect. So, just to briefly go over what we just did. Most of my recordings are not preset, so it's not smooth like other recordings where everything works. I like my recording to go like the way stuff goes. You do something, you run into a problem, and you resolve the problem. So we go over this again. So basically, internal Mailflow was set up automatically by Exchange, and we went through setting up external Mailflow. So what we did was we created we route everything through Comodo. So we added a domain in Comodo, and we as a anti-spam gateway, and we configured a receive connector for Comodo for the front end, and a send connector to send out to Comodo. So Comodo handles all the mail. So all we do into is to send the mail to Comodo and just get what's coming from Comodo. So that's it for the initial setup for the Mailflow. And technically the final step for setting up my Exchange environment, since it's all up and running. So I still will make a video because I'm going to do some of my own personal customization. So I will do some more other videos in Exchange. But that's it for now. You guys have a great day. Thank you for listening.